Hi, my name is Jeannie, and I'm. This is my podcast, Dreams to Reality, and I actually have a friend here, a guest. So he's going to talk about how he was able to use the four keys that I keep mentioning in my podcast, which is clarity, clearing, subconscious reprogramming, and aligned action in order to create the life of your dreams. And so he's going to briefly introduce himself to us. And so his name is James Wilhite. So I met him like several months ago in one of Kelly's classes. So Kelly is one of my teachers, mentors as well. So okay, James, introduce yourself and briefly talk about your background and how you got into personal development.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me participate in your Dreams to Reality podcast, which is just so cool. And from listening to the last episode, it's just a really beautiful thing that you're sharing with people. Beautiful information and awareness.
Mm.
And I'm honored that you would let me come and participate and have a conversation with you. So my name is James Wilhite, and I have uh, I've had many careers, many things that I've done in terms of work. Currently, I own a credit repair company, and I also have a business on the side. I do mentorship and uh, life mastery skills and empowering people to really build the life of their dreams. So that's what I do in the world, and also love playing music, and I love art, and I will share about some of those things too. I can, um, but yeah, my passion is really people, uh, including myself. I love the world of personal development, and I feel I have a really unique story how it all came to be. Uh,
Uh-huh.
yeah, well, we met in Houston, which is where I'm from. I currently live in Arizona though. But I grew up with like a, pretty typical family household. My mother was a teacher. She taught high school, and my father was an entrepreneur, and he had a couple of different businesses. And when I was about 5 years old, my father went to prison. Uh, he got mixed up in some stuff and kind of got off track. And that was a really interesting time for me because I do remember, even at 5 years old, like my dad not being around. He came back home a couple years later, and um, like life was pretty good. Then at 10 years old, my parents divorced. My dad left a second time.
Mhm.
And that had a pretty traumatic effect on my self-image, like the way that I saw myself. And from that point on, it was like I stopped really caring about school. I stopped really caring about music. I just really kind of got lost. And then from like 10 years old till I was about, oh gosh, like 23. I mean, I was just wild. Let's say that, just wild, and really enjoyed like breaking the rules and really testing like what could I get away with in life,
Mhm.
and and I experimented a lot with just everything, um, including drugs and oh gosh, just so much different stuff. And it was all actually really good life learning lessons. Um, then when I was 23, I got really I got so caught up in what I was doing that I actually lost my freedom for a couple of years.
Mhm.
So people, you would call that prison. And so,
Actual prison, not just like metaphorical prison, but
right,
prison.
right, not just like a mental prison, but like a physically, I was not allowed to, go where I want to go and do what I want to do when I want to do it. I mean, and so it really had me stop in my tracks, like really, and just reevaluate my life. So I was 23, so I was like 25 when I came home, and I was still feeling pretty lost, and I just randomly met this woman who was renting an apartment, and I did not know her, but she showed me around the place, right? I liked it. At the end, she said, "So, James, so like, what are you doing with your life? Like, what do you, what do you want? What are your goals, and what do you want for the future?" And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I had to really think about that, and she had this amazing conversation with me about like all these possibilities for my life. And like, i really I really had all kinds of regrets and things that were incomplete, and I wanted like whatever she was talking about. Like, I really wanted that, and I felt like, okay, maybe it's possible. So she told me to do this seminar, this personal development seminar,
Mhm.
and it radically changed my life. I mean, it was like 3 days of really just looking at the past and what happened in the past, and putting it, like, getting it complete, and forgiving myself, forgiving other people. And it was a huge transformation for me. And that was in 2008. I was 26 years old, and that just changed the whole course and direction of my life. So from that point on, I went and I worked with that company for 8 years, and you know, I just dedicated myself completely to developing myself, and helping, like, give that gift away to others as well. So um, yeah, it was really powerful. So then I've moved in since then. I don't work with that company anymore, but I've really gotten into more developing myself as a spiritual being,
Mhm.
being able to work with the spiritual laws, and with the subconscious mind, and developing that ability to manifest our my desires through my imagination, and my trust in that process, and through repetition, and more repetition, and more repetition. And so yeah, so I mean, that's kind of like, there's plenty more I could share about that journey, but like, uh that's it's kind of it in a nutshell.
Mhm. So that's a interesting story, and I'm sorry Bacon has
Oh,
in, so he's always in. And
three's company, as they say.
yeah, so can you because the four keys to dreams to reality is clarity, clearing, subconscious reprogramming, and aligned action. Can you tell me how you mentioned about your new business right now? Did you use, how did you use clarity in achieving your, like any of the four keys? How did you, yeah.
Wow, feisty little guy. Yeah, the clarity part is so critical. I clarity might be one of the most valuable commodities out there. We're so unclear about, at least for ourselves. We're a lot of us, I would say, at least for myself, have been unclear at many times in my life about what I want, where I am, and where I'm going. And when you don't know those things, it's really hard to manifest what you desire. And so getting clarity really came down to the process of getting clear. it was a gradual progression, and I can't say that I did it all by myself. It was like talking with other leaders like yourself and people that people that were looking to do the same, or who had already done, who had already accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, or we're just in that mindset. But for myself, I just sat down and decided, like, what is it that I really want,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of give myself the permission, and as well as exercise the discipline to, like, think that through and write those things out and get clear, because there's just habitual thinking patterns and being distracted and not focused or unaware, etc. So to answer your question, I would say just uh, stopping and addressing what it is I really want, and getting those questions answered for myself, with myself.
Mm-hmm. So clarity is actually, like, as you said, the most important thing, and I think that's the first step to anything, to achieving a goal or a dream. Um, so you mentioned about, I know you mentioned Bob Proctor uh, during one of our conversations. Do you write down your goals on a piece of paper? Like, what do you do to clarify and to solidify your goals?
Yes, yeah, that's a good question, because there's so many areas of life, and narrowing it down to four really simple ones: love and connection is one, time, money, health and well-being, and vocation or profession or career. So just kind of simplifying it down to those four for myself, and writing down, like, what do I really want? Like, I write down the question, what do I really want in each of these areas? And then I relax my body, and just sort of allow whatever ideas I have, or desires I have, or mental images, just kind of flow either through my pen, or flow through my mind, and capture those, and without any judgment. Like, and sometimes there still is judgment, like, oh, is that really what I want, or is this good, or is that bad? And being also noticing that as part of the process too. There's, like, judgment about even what I want, or what I say I want. And so that's part of more of the unclarity. So it's an interesting process of defining. But does that answer your question? It's just like writing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I do have a goal card too, by the way, and I do look at the goal card daily, and I have it laminated. I got it printed out at the UPS store, and got it laminated, and I carry it in my wallet.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So one of the second key is clearing. So I use a lot of clearing methods, like the Sedona method, like emotional clearing, EFT. So you mentioned something about similar to surrendering, and so basically, what do you do to clear resistance so that you can surrender? So what are the tools that you use? Because I use a lot. I use EFT, I use like emotion code. It really depends on the issue that I'm trying to clear, but I use a lot of tools.
Yeah, we're so blessed. We have so many tools that we can choose from. And I love that about this journey that we're on. There's so many new processes or awarenesses we can discover to clear. And I think clearing is an ongoing process. But to get to the answer, or to answer your question, um, writing, just automatic writing, and is one way that I clear. Also, through meditation is another way that I clear. And when I say meditation, I really mean just sitting in a relaxed state with my eyes closed, and and really either speaking to myself, uh, directing my thoughts, sort of navigating through them in my mind, or just allowing whatever's there to just kind of come up and surrender to uh, whatever that is, and just like acceptance of whatever is going on in the mind. And then also with access consciousness tools, I do the POC and Pod clearing statement, which you can find on YouTube, uh, and that really works well. So I think those are probably the processes I use most right now.
Mhm. That's good. So
Yeah.
the third key is actually subconscious reprogramming, which is basically just it involves repetition, visualization, and stuff like that. But what kind of subconscious reprogramming do you do? Do you do anything that will implant your goal into your mind? You mentioned something about that's a form. Repetition is looking at your goals card every day. So that's a form of subconscious reprogramming. What else do you use?
Hmm. Well, I've had the wonderful opportunity to work with a hypnosis, and I've had a great session doing that, uh, which I recommend now to my friends. That's a great practice or process. I've only done it once so far, um, and yes, the you know what I find is probably, well, okay, the meditation or visualization, I should say. So I use Neville's technique of imagining uh, my wish already fulfilled,
Mhm.
and I sit in my chair or I lay down on the bed, and I go through the experience of having the thing that I want. And I've already gotten clear about what I want because I did the writing part before, right? So when you were talking about clarity, it's like I've already gotten clear about what it is I desire. So then when I do the subconscious like implant process of what you just asked me, then that's where I go through and imagine myself in the experience of, let's say building the dream team in my business, right? Where we're meeting in the morning and we're talking about our goals, we're talking about like the work we're going to do that day, and I imagine everyone on our team is successful, they're enjoying what they're doing, and they're effective at what they're doing. And then our clients are the beneficiary of our our team doing great work, and their dreams are being fulfilled. And so I'm just imagining like them being, happy, being satisfied, and of course myself included. So that's like an example of going through that imagination process. And then and then with Neville's technique, there's, planting the seed, and then you just allow it to happen, right? You don't know, everything has a gestation period. So it may happen like that day, or it may happen, somewhere down the line. We don't know exactly, but um, that's what I find is the most powerful technique for um, realizing some really big dreams that I might have, and then also even, some smaller ones. And I think you have to have both. You have to have some really like kind of out there dreams that are really going to stretch you and push you, and then you have like some smaller goals that are, more digestible. You're going to see those results maybe happen a little quicker because your mind has to accept certain like a different reality, like a different way of manifesting, because it's not based on your five senses, right? It's not what you can see, taste, touch, hear, or feel that's gonna make it happen, like in your environment. It's it's through your belief and through your focus and your attention, and then your faith or trust in that process, like working for you,
Mhm.
uh, not working hard or trying to make it happen. Right? It's happening for you, through you, and with you. So, so yeah. To answer your question, that is, I would say, the most effective process that I do right now.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. I believe in that too. Like, big goals and small goals, so you can have small successes leading to bigger successes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just have to underline that because I have some pretty big dreams or visions of for myself, and for what I can accomplish in the world. But those aren't going to happen necessarily overnight. So having some smaller goals for myself, like let's say with money, like okay, this week I'm going to earn, I don't know, $1,000, just for as an example,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm used to making like 500 or something. Like, yeah, I mean that's like something that's more attainable or more,
Mm-hmm.
So having, I think, and then when you reach those goals through working this process, you start to build that confidence that, oh yeah, this process does work, and uh, you build trust. It doesn't just like happen to you. I
Mm-hmm.
You build trust with yourself, and you like certain your yeah your self image. I feel like it can shift in on a dime, your self image, and there's certain habitual patterns that those maybe take a little bit longer to turn around or to
Mm-hmm.
shift. So anyway, it's all connected.
Okay. So the last key that I have, which is like it's aligned action, you already talked about it briefly, sort of like, so aligned action is actually not just, visualizing and just being clear on your goal, but actually taking action. So how do you take aligned action? So let's say you have a goal. What actions are you taking on a daily basis that's leading you to your, as you mentioned, like big goals and then small goals?
Gosh, that's a great question. That is a great question, and it's one that's already kind of got me thinking about what do I do, what do aligned actions do I do, because um, I would say that that part for me is maybe not so conscious. I'm not so conscious of. I don't. That's a gosh. That's a good question. Aligned actions. Um, well, you know, Steve Jobs had a great quote where he said, you
Uh-huh.
can't connect that, you can't connect all the dots you can't connect all the dots looking ahead, right? You can only see them when you look back. You've got to just go forward and trust that somehow they're all going to connect. So taking aligned action for me would be, I would say, in the moment, I'm asking myself, is this moving me closer towards my goal, or is it not? And then I get to choose if I'm going to take that action or not. But honestly, I would say I really just act. I just take a lot of actions,
Oh.
and um, I don't think about it too much. And I don't believe there's any real mistakes. I feel like all roads lead to God. So
Mhm.
like I can't lose. I'm just going to either learn going one way or the other, but it's all going to, either way I'm getting to my goal. So I don't know if that really answers your question, but um, maybe you could help clarify for me, like what would be an aligned action, or what isn't, could you share with me what's an aligned action?
So in my case, because I like to write books and I really want to do this forever. So part of my action steps, actually, I don't just visualize myself as a successful writer. I actually write every day, try to write every day, even if I have a full-time job. So that's aligned action.
Mm.
And what I do is I have themes like um, Thursdays, it's all about hypnosis, induction. Fridays, it's about my religion, spiritual practice. Mondays, I call it Money Mondays. So I do goal setting for money and doing money related actions and stuff. So it's taking action in relation to your goal. Like, so in my case, it's like I'm a writer, so I have to write every day. So I have to market myself, and I do podcasting, so I have to produce content like this one, you know.
Yeah.
So aligned action is what it means is taking action steps that is related or aligned to your goal. So that's what I mean. And I think you're following the process. I forgot which self-help coach it was, but he said ready or no, fire and aim and stuff, and then just adjust yourself. I forgot who said that.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's really inspiring to hear the way you are consciously aware of what actions you're taking to move you in the direction of your dreams and your goals. I mean, that's awesome. I don't know. I just love that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that, as of lately, within the last year, I've really been practicing uh, the effortless way, in the which the way I understand it is, we plant a seed in the subconscious mind, and then we go about our business,
Mm-hmm.
and rather than trying to control the outcome through our mind or through our body, which I have to acknowledge myself for, because the way I used to produce results was always through my body. Like if I was thinking about action, I think about moving my body to do something, right? Like call this person, you know, whatever, buy this thing, or, it's something I do with my body. Then I started to transition, okay, okay, moving things with my mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? And which I still am practicing. And I'm also using this technique of, you plant the seed, but then you don't go digging up the dirt to see, okay, well, is that seed growing? No,
Mm-hmm.
you just allow it to do its work and unfold in your life. And in the meantime, while you're doing that, you're you're developing the unconscious behavior to just take the aligned action without having to even like maybe plan for it or even predict it in any kind of way. It's just like it's the effortless way. It's just like who you are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing I'm trying to get to. It's a place I'm coming from unconsciously. So that's what I've been practicing lately, and it's a bit tricky because you want to be able to measure. I mean, it is measurable, and uh, it's so not the paradigm of how we understand producing results or performance. I would say so. It's very different. I'm still testing it out for myself.
I think that's aligned action already when your goal is set already. It's like the GPS, you're putting your coordinates already and you're just driving, following the GPS. So it becomes effortless when you know where you're going. If you make a wrong turn, you still and that's what aligned action is. You already know your destination. You said you already have the end in mind,
Mm.
and it becomes effortless in a way because it becomes your actions becomes automatic because it's part of you. So it's like, your goal is the GPS. You enter the coordinates in the GPS and you're driving. So it becomes effortless because like you already it's automatic. So driving becomes automatic, so the action becomes automatic, and you already know where you're going. And even if you miss a turn, you can still, you know and I think that is in itself what you're doing right now is aligned action, because you already planted the seed. You already know, let's say you planted a mango tree, you already know that the mango tree is going to grow. So therefore you're just taking the actions, which is watering it, and just holding your dream in place and just taking actions around it that would allow your tree to grow. And I think that was it. Yours is aligned action already. It's actually everything is your mind, your body, they're flowing together. You're in the flow. So that's what aligned action literally means.
Yeah, and I want to just add one thing, Jen, in for the listeners, that if you ever come across the book Psycho-Cybernetics, or
Mhm.
just go check it out. It was written by Maxwell Maltz in 1960, and he didn't discover this idea about psycho-cybernetics, but he really brought it to the collective consciousness through this book. But it's powerful. Cybernetic systems, it's if I could just give a brief explanation of it, an airline plane is a cybernetic system. It is when you set the course, when you set the destination and set the course, the plane about 90% of the time is actually off course. And the system just detects when that happens and brings it back on course to the preset destination. And so Maxwell Maltz discovered that each of us has a predetermined destination, and it's through our subconscious mind and our self-image. And that self-image is gets developed or planted through our environment, and through like what's happening around us when we're very, very, very young, uh, like within the first couple of years of life. And so that destination gets set, or that self-image is set, then all of our behaviors just become automatic and aligned with whatever that is. So it's really fascinating. And the good news is we can all shift our self-image
Mm-hmm.
and chart a new course and set a new destination for ourselves. Uh, it's really amazing, and that's where I've learned a bit of this as well, and been studying it from.
Yeah. So that actually is, yeah, that is part of aligned action when you're subconscious. So that's why we program ourselves subconsciously with the things that we want to happen. And once you've done that, your action is just aligned with whatever subconscious programming you already implanted. So, yeah, because the subconscious controls everything. Um, but we can consciously implant the seed, as you said. We can consciously implant the seed that we want to grow. Like as I mentioned, you want to grow a mango tree, so you implant that seed, that particular seed. So yeah, in your subconscious mind, so that it grows. So aligned action basically means, once your mindset and your programs have been set, you just take action that's um, leading you to your goal automatically.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to just underline, like, okay, what is the subconscious exactly? Like, we all have theories about the subconscious. I'd say we all probably have some relationship to what the subconscious mind
Mm-hmm.
is or what it means. Um, and the subconscious mind is what is having, our heartbeat right now, and our hair grow, and all of our organs, functioning properly, without us having to think about it, or exercise our will, uh, or our mental faculty to make it happen. And so all that unconscious function, and also unconscious behavior, uh, we actually, God gave us dominion over, believe it or not. We have the ability to direct that, and choose new beliefs that are going to get us the, fulfill, have us, you know experience the things that we really want in life. So yeah, this idea of the subconscious mind, or super subconscious mind, or subconscious super mind, it's just a whole it's just a vast, endless, limitless world, realm of possibility that we can play with,
Mm-hmm.
is is what I is is how I look at it.
Yeah. It's basically the same thing. Yeah, we're talking about the same thing. Yeah. So I'm glad you explained subconscious. You know, the
Yeah,
sub.
oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. The thing that I also want to distinguish about the subconscious versus the conscious mind is that your conscious mind is what is, uh, it has the ability to either accept or reject information, right? Like any idea or anything that's happening in our environment, the conscious mind is always saying, yes, I like that. No, I don't like that. This is good. This is bad. That's right. This is wrong. And that's what that's what we're experiencing through our day and awaking state, right? Where the subconscious is just, it's 24/7, right? Going back to like the bodily functions, but it's always, I don't want to say thinking, but it's always working for us as well, um, no matter what. And it doesn't have the ability to accept or reject any ideas. Whatever you plant in it is going to grow.
That's
So if you put your attention on something that you don't like, or something that scares you or doesn't feel good, your your subconscious mind just accepts it, right, without reason, right? The conscious mind is has the ability to reason and rationalize, but the subconscious doesn't. So it's just going to grow whatever you plant in it, and that's why it's so important to understand how the mind works, where what you um, think about, you bring about, and thoughts become things. And you hear these cliches. Well, that's what it means. It's about what's entering in the subconscious mind that you're allowing, whether you're paying attention to it or not. So there's a great quote that says, stand guard at the door of your mind. And I don't know who said that, but I really feel this is a crucial piece um, you know, um, to what we're talking about.
mm-hmm. Yeah. I think in Buddhism we have it as be the master of your mind rather than you be the servant of your mind. So you be the master of your mind, and that's we have a quote in Buddhism like that. Always be the master of your mind, rather than your mind being the master over you. So
Makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah. Is there anything else you would like to add before we go? Because it has been a very interesting conversation.
Well, Thank you. Yeah, I would say just before I go,
Uh-huh.
or we go, you know, I would say is that we it's a bold statement, but all the world, including myself, we all believe a lie. And the lie is that the external world is the cause and not the effect of our reality.
Mm-hmm.
There is no such thing as secondary causes. That means that we, each of us, you, Genevieve, are the most powerful person in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You have an incredible capacity for change. And you are the solution to your future, whatever that future is you that you desire or envision. And so thank you very much for having me on, and thank you for letting me share a bit about me and my world.
Yeah. And thank you very much too. And if you have a website, you can plug it right now to, you know.
Great. Yep. Yep. So www.sagejames, just the way it sounds, sagejames.com. And I have a YouTube channel as well. And I just, yeah, I will be continuing to share my message, and you can find me there.
Oh, okay. I'll subscribe. I just found out that you have a YouTube channel.
Oh, I didn't share it with you yet. That's why.
We'll subscribe, like you subscribe and I subscribe.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, and thank you for allowing Bacon to hijack the show. Thank you. You're kind.
Thank you so much, you guys. All the best.
Thank you.